Hello, this is Peter Detmer, Madison College, instructor for the Automotive Manufacturing Program, Robotics and Automation. Today I'm going to talk to you about Rockwell Automation, specifically about how to upgrade the firmware of hardware components in the ControlLogix environment. First of all, you have to understand what the current firmware is and which one you want to upgrade to. For that, we're going to look at RS links, RS who. I already have an Ethernet path established. Looking at the backplane, here in slot 6, that's the card I'm currently communicating through. Device properties shows us a revision of 5.8. If you look at slot number 3, I have a redundant Ethernet card installed. Device properties shows us version 4.2. I want to make them the same firmware. So the first step is to go to the Rockwell Automation website. Then go to Support, Driver Software Downloads, and find the firmware updates. Usually the firmware upgrades are not found on the first page, so I always go to the Product Compatibility and Download Center. There's a link on this page. From this page now, if you scroll down a little bit, you can find downloads. This opens up a small searchable database, and the product search, you type in the part number you're looking to upgrade. Ours is a 1756-EN2T. Now I only see the available firmware upgrades for this particular part number. I want to download the unsigned firmware, revision C, and the latest firmware version. So once I selected that, I can go on the Downloads button. I select the box for firmware only. I go to my download card. I previously downloaded an older version, so I can uncheck those. I'm going to uncheck the Enhanced Redundancy Bundle and only leave the firmware checked I want to download at this point. Now I can click Download. As of today, you have to have a Rockwell Automation account, so you can see I'm already logged in. If you don't have that, you'll be prompted to log in or to create an account. My account is tied to our facility. Once you accept the terms of downloading firmware, you have the option of selecting direct download or a managed download. We're going to choose a direct download. Here, I'm going to click on the download file. I'm going to get prompted if I want to run or save. I always choose save with files downloaded from the internet. Once the file is downloaded, you want to open the folder it's located in. This case is an executable, self-extractable file. So if you double-click this, you can run the file. It's going to extract and prompt you where you want to extract this to. Make sure you know the folder location of where you're extracting this to. Click Extract. And what we get with this is a folder that contains the ControlFLASH MSI installer. This is a Windows installer which installs the ControlFLASH software on your computer and the firmware that goes with the device that you want. Now I've done this before, so I already have the ControlFLASH software installed. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. It can be found under All Programs and then Flash Programming Tools, and there's the ControlFLASH software. So you get prompted for our local or network-based factory talk directory. I choose local because I'm going to have a direct USB connection between my computer and the hardware module. I'm going to go ahead now and plug in the USB cable into the if you already have a path through an Ethernet card or the network to that card you want to upgrade, you can use that. So if you look at the RS links, you can see on the bottom here, it's recognizing the USB device. I have two options now to upgrade this. One's via Ethernet IP. So I could navigate to it this way, or I can use the automatically installed USB driver to the card that I have the other end of the cable plugged into. So this was RS links. Now you have to define the path of the target device through the ControlFLASH software. So I'm going to go click next. If this hasn't been selected, you type in the part number that you try to update again. It's going to sort through all the available part numbers of Rockwell. You can click next. This is going to show us now this RS links window. So you have to have RS links Classic installed. I'm going to choose the USB path, which only shows me the card I want to update. I'm going to click OK. Then you see the available firmware versions that have been downloaded. You can see there's version 28, version 8, 7, and 4.2. I'm going to choose version 5.8, which matches the other Ethernet interface that I have on my system. Click next. And now be careful when you upgrade firmware, you're going to lose connection with the device. So if you're running a production environment, do this offline with no production. The controller should be in program mode. We're going to click finish here, and it's going to go through, warn you that you're updating the target device, warning that you're upgrading a firmware version larger than 2, and then it's going to do some checking, and it's going to update the firmware on the module itself. It's going to reboot and reconfigure the settings that you originally had on that device. So with this particular version of ControlFLASH, it maintains my Ethernet IP settings that I had defined on the Ethernet card. You can see it's doing the final step of the transmitting the update. Shortly we should see a confirmation showing us the current revision of the firmware on the card. Now you can see it's showing us the current version and the new revision. We have to verify this. We're going to say OK here. We're going to cancel this. It will just simply ask us to do another hardware module if we wanted to. It's going to close the session. So here now I'm going to go through USB again. It's still connected. I can right click on this card, device properties, and here now we have firmware revision 5.8. To double check, I can go through my Ethernet device. Here you see my card slot number 6, which is the one I've been communicating through, 5.8, and this matches now the device in slot 3, the device in slot 3, 5.8. Thank you for tuning in, and check back in soon. Thank you.